In this tutorial, we are making polymer clay toast in a super efficient and productive way that allows you to tailor it to your own needs in terms of size, color, shape, and texture. These are huge advantages as you have the freedom to make them however you want for whatever application you want, and you can make tons at a time very quickly and easily. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and this helps me to keep creating more content for you. To make our toast, I'm making a whole loaf and slicing it into toast pieces. So rather than making just one piece, this is how I'm going to do it. And the advantages you get with this is a whole heap of toast at once, which is great and takes much less energy and effort, especially if you're going to be mixing your clay. So shape your loaf how you would want it to look. I like to squish mine a few times with a ruler and tap it a few times and sometimes smooth it out. My toast measures roughly 5 centimeters long and about 2 centimeters wide, and for the next part in just a moment I indent the sides with a paintbrush. However, you could use a barbecue skewer or a chopstick if you like. You don't have to dent it if you don't want, and you can run it down in a little channel just to make sure that you get the middle part indented as well, so that we can see it when you cut through every piece of toast later on. So don't worry too much about the outsides for now, and just as an option you could just go ahead and slice this toast now and then maybe just brush a bit of shaved brown or orangey coloured chalk pastel around the edges just to get a little bit of a look of a crust there. And I actually really like to make my own crust with clay, so this is a brown bit of clay which is a combination of white, burnt umber and cadmium yellow hue with just a bit more burnt umber in it. And I really like to use the sheet of clay, and I think it's worth the effort for me anyway. This clay sheet is about 1 millimeter thick, put through the pasta machine. You can always roll it out if you need to, and wrap up your little loaf of bread in the crust, which is kind of cool. Good idea is to place the loaf on the crust so that the bottom of the loaf is going to end up where we join up the crust covering. Yeah, it's really weird. I actually feel like I'm baking, and make sure you wrap it up slowly and gradually up the loaf so you smooth it as you go so you don't get any air bubbles trapped underneath as you slowly push it up to meet the other half. I made a rough little mark and cut off the excess, and anyway, smooth and blend the ends together with your fingers or your fingernails or a silicone shaper tool if you wish. And I hope that your bread is looking really good so far and you're having lots of fun. So next anyway, we trim the edges of it to get them nice and straight and neat, and you can see now we have this. And make sure it's pressed really well on both sides so you get the little indents nice and neat. And okay, so we're ready to slice now. And this is my first loaf of bread, so I'm really excited. I found my really good stiff tissue blade, yay. And so I put it in the freezer. Please note I put it in the freezer for about 5 minutes so it's a bit tougher and easier to slice. It helps so much. I really highly recommend doing this. So I'm working pretty quickly, and so that it doesn't loosen up, I made some marks about 5 to 6 millimeters per slice with the ruler there you saw before. And anyway, so don't worry about any of the holes, and we can fix them up later. They're very easy fixed. Keep the blade nice and straight as you cut all the way down for each slice is another really important note, to get them nice and even, and get as many slices as you can out of your loaf. And the ends might be a little bit wonky, that's okay. And from that loaf I got a total of about 8 pieces of toast, and you can squish and smush them back to more of an original shape if they get a little bit bent out of shape. And you can check the indents to make sure they look good, the edges are smooth, and also smooth out any holes. And we're ready for the next bit. Wow, lots of toast. Let's get into putting some texture on it. So it's such a handy idea to pop them all down on a piece of sandpaper, so when you are working on them they keep their texture on the other side. And this is a P60 I think maybe, but just the coarsest grit sandpaper you can get your hands on, and it textures the other side at the same time, which is super efficient and handy. This is a toothbrush and you can play around and experiment with so many different things. I cut the bristles a little bit so it was a little bit easier to work with. So this is how that looks. You can also use something called a wire brush. If you don't have a wire brush, you can just like use a handful of wires and poke those in there. A needle tool is also a very handy little thing to use. You can see that the holes are a little bit larger. All different types of bread look so different, so just whatever type of bread you want to make, just play around and see what works for you. This is a dotting tool. Some bits of bread obviously have larger holes in them. Make your bread however you'd like, and this is a texture sponge, which is just a much shallower kind of texture. You might just want to use it as a base and then put other stuff on top, or you might like it just like this. And this is where they all are, and texture the other side as well, and make sure that they all look kind of similar on each side. This is a really large selection which I just experimented with, and for the next loaf of toast I make, I would probably want to make the crust slightly thinner. However, I'm really happy with them. In just a few moments you can click on the links at the end of the video to find out how you can decorate your toast.